Welcome everyone to our Riverside City College School of Business podcast. My name is Justin Hudson.
And I'm Ajane Wilcoxon.
One of our goals is to bring you entrepreneurs from our community. Today we are joined by Fabrice Alce, one of the owners of the Beignet Spot here in Riverside. Welcome to our podcast, sir. How are you?
Thank you for having me, man. Really happy to be here.
Man, we appreciate you coming through.
We sure do.
Awesome.
So, Fabrice, let's jump into this. We need to know who you are, what's your background, who, what, when, where, and why. So tell us, where did you grow up at?
Yeah, so I was born in Los Angeles, California. Grew up there, did all the baby stuff through kindergarten there. Moved to Idlewild, which is a small community in the mountains above Banning area. And was there till middle school, and then went to Riverside, California with my family. So did middle school there, did high school, went to Redlands High School, and all for you out there, the Redlands High School, okay? That's the navy blue and silver. We don't talk about Rev. So went there, did 4 years there. Then I went to Santa Barbara and went to college there and studied economics and business.
Okay.
And then from there, kind of left with the thought that I was going to work somewhere, in finance. Kind of got that from my dad was in business, and some relatives from the East Coast I interacted with in my childhood. So I didn't know where exactly, but for sure, I thought at that point in my life it was going to be finance. I'd be in a suit. I'd be, working on Wall Street somewhere, doing something. So
Wow.
So prior to us starting the podcast, you mentioned that you did a study abroad.
I did.
Where did you do that at? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was awesome. So study abroad, for those of you who don't know, you just, whatever major you're in, that school, my school, and for conversation is in Santa Barbara, they'll send you somewhere and have a curriculum based on your major or minor, and you'll study there and also learn the culture and get to experience the area. I went to Spain. I was in Bilbao for about 6 months.
Wow.
So I had business classes. So I took marketing. We studied NGOs and how economics affects those particular organizations. I took Spanish. And then you finish classes and you're there. So pretty much you're just there hanging out. You get to see the city, you get to see the people. We have what they call an intercambio, just like a translator or someone who's native of the city who gets to talk to you and show you the culture. So it was awesome. It was the best 6 months of my life. It was amazing. Yeah.
So would you recommend that our students do study abroad?
Oh, without a doubt. I think for entrepreneurship, especially, I think entrepreneurs have a very astute way of seeing the world that's unique, which allows them to navigate and see opportunity and see business. And I think being abroad and see different cultures and learning, it just opens your mind to see a lot of things. And a lot of entrepreneurs have stories of being abroad and being able to see a certain need, or just having that moment alone to be themselves. They see certain opportunities that you don't see here, and they're able to, capitalize once they get back to the States. So.
Absolutely. And I agree. So, I went to France, and while I was there, folks were asking me where I was from, and I kept saying LA.
That's right.
And when I got back, I was like, I need to create a brand that gives us an identity for our community. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So why Spain, of all places?
It was kind of like a choice / it's the only program that was open at that point.
Oh, okay.
I think I mentioned to you guys off camera. It was a choice for me that kind of came impromptu. I was actually in the process of transferring schools and decided last minute I was going to go abroad. And at that point in the study abroad program, that was one of the only schools that are open or opportunities to go abroad. And also the idea or the concept of learning Spanish, which is it's almost second language in California. It was cool. I think that would be very practical for me in working business to learn the language from the natives and kind of be able to. It was just beautiful too. I'm right there, so I got to travel while I was in Spain, so it just made it a lot. It's kind of a very logical decision, yeah.
Wow.
Love it. Okay,
awesome.
So now, if you don't mind, can you transfer us from the college to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so like I said before, I finished and I thought I'd go in finance. So I actually went to New York and worked in finance, or started that path. I had some family that's in finance, and they got me some interviews on Wall Street. I worked at a bank doing retail side. I worked at a small investment bank on the sales side, almost like Wolf of Wall Street. I was the guy on the phone just like sales. Not as crazy, but
I
that was
was
essentially
right.
what I was doing.
Like
Yeah.
him.
So I had my senior broker and I was a junior broker, and I was calling, 400 calls a day,
Wow.
trying
Woo.
to connect prospective clients if it was a new hot stock. But the whole time doing that, and just to rewind real quick, before I went to New York, I actually worked a year with my parents. They opened a restaurant.
Oh.
So I had that bug in my head. So when I went there, I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I missed it, and I had to sit down with someone who gave me kind of which I would encourage anybody, find someone who can give you kind of a course, a game plan as to how to get to your aspirations. So I had that for me. Yeah, it was a mentor essentially, and he just told me to get to where you want to be in Wall Street. It's going to be this, 2 years here, business school, come back, and it was just a lot. So I just said, you know what, that path's not for me. I'm not passionate about it. So I actually went back to restaurants in New York and worked in management in downtown at a kind of fast casual shop. And once I got back into it, that was it for me. I knew that was the place for me to be. I have a mind for numbers, I have a mind for people, and I have a mind for logistics. And restaurants really kind of satisfy all those three passions and skill sets.
Wow. So tell us, you said your parents started a restaurant. Where was that restaurant at?
Yeah, so we started a restaurant in Riverside, California, my hometown. It's a Caribbean food. It's called Dat Island. And it started there. I helped open it, and none of us knew anything about food. like nothing. My mom did catering, but in regards to running a restaurant, just nothing. We had our opening night, we had a lady who had a peach cobbler who waited 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And the reason she did is because we had an old school diner, little tickets turnstile.
Yeah.
And the swamp cooler vent was over that, so it blew her ticket under the table, so we lost the ticket. So it was just we opened with no cash in the cash box,
Wow.
So we had so we had people come in and, order whatever, $50 of food and give us, $60. I have $60. I had to literally run across the street to the hardware store, break change, and that was how. So it was just going into we have food, let's just see what happens, and that journey just kind of started like that. So it was a lot of learning on the fly.
Now, I think there's a lot of value in that. So when you started that business, your family started that business how long ago?
I think this year will be 15 years.
And you guys are still in business.
Yeah.
Wow. So really, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish, and it's about continuing. That's the key thing. You can't quit.
Right.
You really have to be persistent, and I think that's why the vision, whatever you have to do, you have to have passion about it.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of logical marks along the way that will say, hey, there's no money, you should quit. Or, there hasn't been guests, or your numbers are falling, or you can't find employees. A lot of things that logically would say, hey, okay, maybe it's time to pivot. But you have to be able to look at that and say, this will work, and be able to continue.
Wow.
And I think,
What brought you to opening up the Beignet Spot?
Yeah, so that restaurant, like I said, the Caribbean restaurant's 15 years old. We actually had a restaurant in the Food Lab, which is just down the street. That opened 2018. They came to us and saw our Caribbean restaurant. So, they wanted a smaller, fast casual version of it in the food court. So we did that. 2018. COVID happens. So we did pretty well, and COVID happens. Everything shut down. So when it shut down, we obviously had a point where we just weren't working, and we came back, and I think during that time I retooled the whole menu. We kind of redid we had beignets there, but post COVID, 2020, once be more lax the laws, we were able to open again. It just took off. Beignets got crazy, so we just put our thought in our mind. We need to do this, by itself independently. So then 2022, we actually opened up after a lot of construction and process. We got open, so that's how we started Beignets and made it an independent shop by itself.
Are you guys still in the Food Lab?
We're not.
Okay.
Our reason why is that we decided to, as a family, focus on scaling the restaurant. So we're actually working on some franchising and really growing the concept, and wanting all of our family efforts and capital be in that project.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
And I have to say, I go to the Beignet Spot
Say
at
it.
least 4 times a month.
Say it.
You do. You order a lot. you eat a lot.
It touches my soul. So if you have not been to the Beignet Spot, please listen to what I'm telling you.
Call us. We'll meet you there.
That's it.
I'll be there.
And I have to say, Dr. Ajane introduced me to the Beignet Spot.
Yeah,
And he was playing it cool. He got a jerk chicken salad. I'm like, a jerk chicken salid?
With extra tender.
Come on.
You have to get the order right. That's the
Extra
order.
tender.
No onions.
But I get, what do I get? I get the...
You get everything. You get the breakfast hash.
The breakfast hash.
You get the
with
sandwich
extra
sometimes.
tender.
Yeah, extra tender sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. So now kind of switching gears here. You run a business. How do you maintain your mental health with everything going on? You know, outside of the business, you have your personal life. Like, how do you do it? How do you manage it all?
Yeah, I mean, I would say having a restaurant is like having a kid. It's like a nonstop not obligation, because I do enjoy it. It's a nonstop responsibility. That's the best word to use. And you're just always there. You know, it's in hospitality in general is it's a people industry. You know, what I say for our team when we talk to them is like we're not selling food. We are creating a sense of community, a sense of joy,
Experience,
and we facilitate that purpose with food. So it's a little backwards, but
That's awesome.
With that being said, you have to really pour into your people. So it is, for me, to answer your question, like I'm a gym rat. You know, I got to go at least 4 times a week.
Okay.
Just to kind of decompress, hit something, throw something. You know, it just kind of gets me relaxed. And then I'm married, so my wife and I are been together like 5 years. We're married. I'll get this right. 2022. So
get it right.
Yeah. So 2020. So almost 3 years this year. Spending time with her is obviously, you know, her little date night getaway. When I say getaway, you know, just go to dinner. You know, leave Riverside for a second and have a night. Maybe go to San Diego for a weekend. So really pouring those two things really help me.
Yeah.
I like golf.
Oh, that's
I like
awesome.
chess. So like my father-in-law will play chess once a week.
Nice.
Okay.
You know, either at the restaurant or just go to Panera. You know, just somewhere just to connect. I do well with people in my life, and talking to you. You know, I deal with like the average age. I love you college kids, but I'm old. You know, I'm 36, so I have like 19-year-olds that I work with.
He's old.
Yeah.
36.
Older. Yeah, well, I feel old in my restaurant, and most of the kids are like your age. You know,
Same.
20. So talking to Justin about, you know, business strategy, getting to spend time with Ajane about bigger thoughts beyond, you know, getting cups and the daily logistics kind of helps me just change my mind a little bit. And those all things help my mental health.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So what other advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting a business and they don't know where to start? What are some of the first steps that they should take?
I would say starting a business, you have to be dedicated. You have to have passion. You have to really be dedicated to what you're going to do. So it takes a lot out of you. Besides like money, it's going to take a lot of a business doesn't grow because of money. It grows because of you.
Right.
You're going to have to put in effort. You have to push. And before the investors, before friends and family funds, before that, it's going to be you and an idea. And you have to be able to see it through to the point where it can attract money. And that's just a lot of your time. So I would say be passionate. Find something that's passionate, but you have to have a skill in. You know.
It's beautiful.
Also, I would say definitely, you know, don't rush it. You know, people want to push kids. I think all of you guys are doing a great job going to community college, but you're saving one thing that's important is money.
Yeah.
Just connect. Like if you like restaurants, go work at a restaurant. Don't worry. It doesn't matter where. Dishwasher, line cook. Just get in a restaurant. Because you have to really learn the industry to see it, to actually have ideas to what you do. And anything you're interested in, I think Justin kind of said the word, find a mentor. I think you learn what you're interested in and see it. It'll inspire you, or it'll give you something back that you can't get back as time. Oh, I don't like that. You know, I'm not really passionate about that. You know, but yeah, those are the key things. I mean, I think going to Spain, see my parents. I had a direct example of business and entrepreneurship. My parents had never worked for anybody their whole life since I was born. They had employers before.
It's beautiful.
But I knew I wanted to be in business for myself from them. I didn't know what, but I just was trained that way. I don't know what I would do as an employee. Yeah. I don't have that training. I think it's what you see. So find a mentor, jump into the industry, whatever it is, get experience, at least to see it. Yeah, I think those are the two key things. And then make sure you're passionate about it. I think jumping into it will kind of flush that out for you.
Beautiful.
Well said. Well said. Now, we have to know, so earlier when you came in, you saw Dr. Ajane busting out some dance moves.
Great dancer. I didn't know that until today. That was a new thing I learned.
So when it comes to music, give us one song that you can just listen to at any time that is pretty much the theme of your life or your experience.
So for me, it's gonna be a slower tempo.
Okay.
Because I can't,
Okay, so
I'm
you'll
all day
smooth
moving.
that.
Yeah, I need to be something I like jazz. There's an artist named Guapale.
Okay.
And the song is Closer. And it essentially talks about being closer to your dream.
Yeah.
And I think I love to read. I have a insatiable appetite for just books. I love knowledge. I love enlightenment. I think those things. Knowledge. People say the cliche is knowledge is power, but it really is. I mean,
It really is.
it's very expensive to be ignorant. It's
Wow.
it will cost you an opportunity. It costs you a lot of money to just not know what you know.
Agreed.
A dollar. Like you own your clothing business. If you're in the wrong market, you're selling for $10. You're in the right market, you can sell for $40.
That's right.
That's just knowing where to be.
Wow.
But the song is close to your dreams. Entrepreneurship is just taking a calculated risk to follow your dreams. That's all it is. So
Say that one more time.
yeah, the entrepreneurship is just taking a calculated risk and following your dreams.
Wow.
So that calculated part comes from studying the market, having
That's
a mentor, seeing if that's the right fit, seeing where you need to be. But yeah, that song for me, especially right now, we're kind of not a weird place. We're in a cool place where we're trying to pivot towards mom and pop and actually scaling, which is something we've worked for all these years. So
Right.
I think close to your dreams. I want to be I want to be a father. I'm getting there. I'm about 2 months out. So that's a dream.
Congratulations.
I've been a husband for a little bit. Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Doing
So
it.
it's a lot of, that's my song. Just close to your
Close.
dreams. Yeah.
I love it.
That's fire.
I think that helps me in the moments where I just don't know where I'm going or it feels kind of tough.
Yeah.
You're getting closer.
That's right.
It's coming. So
I love it. Thank you. Okay, listen. One word that describes you that you'd like to share with the students.
Dang, I don't even know one word to describe myself. I would say one word to describe me would probably be a learner.
A
You know,
learner.
I mean, someone told me, one of my mentors said, the smartest person in the room is the one that's always learning. So I learn from my 20-year-old line cooks. I'm always trying to pick something up. I go in a meeting, multiple meetings, talking to investors. There'll be 20 terms that are said across my head that I have no idea what they mean. And I'm just writing them down. I'm
That's right.
nodding my head, and that sounds good. And we'll get back to you with a counter offer. I go home, all 20 words, learn them up, and now I know a new language of investment. And I think that's life. It's just a constant learning process. So
Absolutely.
I'm like a sponge. I love to learn. I love to, the other thing's the word for me.
Learner.
Wow.
And a nerd. And that's 2 words.
I'm a nerd too.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely, my wife says that's what I am.
Yeah,
So
it's all good. That's good.
But go back to what you said. You said it's too expensive to be ignorant.
yeah,
That's deep.
yeah. I got that from a podcast, and I would say along with this podcast, that's part of just learning. Having that constant knowledge in your head. But yeah, it is.
Wow.
I mean, I think for us, and in the case of you guys, I'm sure a lot of you have great ideas. Have great visions, dreams, and think about that. The cost of you not having the knowledge of who to talk to,
Wow.
of what rooms to be in, of what to say when you're in that room can cost you the opportunity to grow your business. And in one case, that's your dream. In another case, in the business sense, that could be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, depending on how you scale it, or how to get funding. A lot of businesses, people don't know, during COVID went under because they didn't know how to
Get the funding.
get PPP.
That's right.
A simple phone call to your bank, if you use ADP, which is a payroll provider, just calling them. We found out all of our files we needed were a click away through ADP, just by using them. Some people didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or you don't know who to ask. And that was the difference between being floated through COVID until we were able to open full blast and have customers and having to close doors. So, I mean, I'm saying it's just knowledge. The ignorance, it's expensive. It costs you a business in some cases.
Wow.
Or it can be lucrative. It helps you grow. And ultimately for us, very blessed to be here. We're actually getting to that point where we're trying to, expand. So.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
And then, can you tell folks where we can find the Beignet Spot? What are your hours? What days are you guys closed and open?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Beignet Spot for you guys actually is around the street. So we're right on, where are we? on the corner of 10th and Market Street. The exact address is 4019 Market. We're open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So
Beautiful.
yeah. That's
Okay,
us.
so we have one question that we ask all of our guests. If you could quickly share something that you feel is real important for our students to know, what would that be?
Man, I would say if I had one thing to share that's really important, I would say for you guys is that success is really just a progressive realization of an ideal. It's not money. It's not, you can't say I make $10 million, I make $20 million, that's success. If you want to be a teacher and you follow a course, a path, and in 6 years you're a teacher, you're successful. Right. So for me, I want to be in restaurants. I want to open a few restaurants. I'm working towards that. But the main thing is, the key word is progressive, you know? Life is just a process.
That's right.
So you have to fall in love with the process. Whatever you decide to do, if you decide to open a restaurant, you decide to start a clothing brand, if you decide to do anything in tech, what separates those who succeed and are able to realize their worthy ideal and those who fail is just having a misperception of the process. It's chopping wood, it's carrying water, it's all the mundane, the boring, the stupid stuff that you don't really hear about. It's not what you see on Instagram. It's not the car, it's not the line out the door. That comes a long time from now. So you have to fall in love with just waking up,
The process.
and making the calls. Waking up and going to the restaurant, washing dishes. Waking up and, covering a shift. I'll talk about myself. It's covering a shift at the restaurant. Waking up and going to a restaurant and making 2 meals. That's what COVID. That's what it was for me. You had no customers. So it's just falling in love with the process of it. So learn your process. Learn whatever that process is for you. Learn that in your industry and learn what that takes, and fall deeply in love with that. Because the course to getting where you want to be is not a straight line. It's a bunch of turns and drops, but you'll get there if you just fall in love with the process of getting there, of the mundane, of the consistent, of the in and out. If you get there, same in school, right? So if you study, it's not fun to study, but the idea of having a major sounds cool, right? That sounds sexy, but you gotta put in 6 hours in the library.
Right.
You gotta show up every day to class. You have to take your test. You have to retest. It's just all these things you have to do. If you do that with excellence, then you're gonna get to it's inevitable, So that was the key thing I would say.
Wow. Thank you, brother. We
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you being here. Thank you
being
so
here.
much. And we look forward to seeing you at your Beignet Spot.
Oh,
real
come
soon.
by.
That's it.
Hope
Have
to
some
see you guys.
beignets ready for me, man.
All right.